So, let's level this guy up. Where are we going next? Are we going Bard 2 or Barbarian 1?
I do go Bard 2.
Bard 2, okay. So, their hit points change.
Just for ease, I always level it up to using the max amount.
Max amount, so that would be in...
D8 plus 4, so it would be...
Another 12, so it would be 24.
Yep.
It goes by your hit die, essentially. If your DM makes you roll, you would roll it, and then use that number and add your Constitution modifier.
In the player's handbook with each class, they also give you the average of what the die is, and it's always half plus 1. Some DMs may elect to go that route for you. I just did the maximum just because it's easier for me to add in my head real quick. Everything that worked together. So that was just a personal thing. That does come down to your DM and how he wants to level up HP.
Or she.
Yes, he or she.
Next, we gain an additional hit dice. And hit dice are used at long rests.
Short rest.
Short rest. Sorry, short rest. That's what I meant. I didn't say that, though. Hit dice are used at short rests to regain some hit points. I think a short rest is, 30 minutes to 60 minutes?
30 or 60. That also comes down to your DM's discretion.
I've let my players take short rest in 10 minutes just because it fit the story. Just, bandage up their wounds real quick and just hit it.
And that's really what the hit dice are representing, is you're taking a quick moment to fix any damage that you've taken in the previous encounters, or you had to run a bad luck with traps. Whatever the situation may have been, it's just your party kind of stops for a moment, gather themselves, and bandage up any damage.
Okay, so those are the things that change here, mechanically. Nothing will change on this side until at least level 4. Your proficiency bonus also doesn't go up till, I believe, level 5. Yes. And that's all on a big chart in here, on the first page of your Bard. So you'll see when your proficiency bonus changes, you'll see when your spells change. And I believe the Bardic Inspiration die is in there too?
Yep. Bardic Inspiration does go up 1 die level. Easiest way to keep track is every 5 levels. So at level 5, level 10, and level 15, it goes up 1 die. And that'll just be able to improve how much they may be able to add to their saving throws or attacks to possibly be successful.
Yes. So, what else do we get at level 2?
At level 2, we also gain the Jack of all trades ability, which is you can add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check you make that doesn't already include your proficiency bonus. So everything that you are not proficient in, you get to add half your proficiency bonus turned down. So being level 2, our proficiency bonus stays at 2. So that is a 1 to all of our ability checks.
That's why I didn't fill out any of these numbers here, because, wow.
And that's just really strong. It's just saying exactly what it's titled. He's a jack of all trades, maybe not a master of any, but he can do a little bit of everything. He also gains the Song of Rest ability, which when you're during a short rest, and anyone who is healing, you can do a song, perform a song, and they regain extra 1d6 hit points. So it's a great way to either help a party member who maybe rolled a 1 or a 2. When rolling d8, when you roll your hit die, you add your Constitution modifier to whatever you roll. So if your Constitution modifier is crap, you could only be getting 1 or 2 HP. This is a way that the Bard can help with healing by rolling an extra die for the group that he's performing for, and it gives them an extra 1d6. That die also levels up at level 9, level 13, and level 17. So as the party grows stronger, so does his song.
9, what was it?
9, 13, and 17. And that'll become 1d8, 1d10, and 1d12 respectively. You do get an extra spell choice. Let's see, where is your spellcasting chart? There we go. You do not gain any extra cantrips, but you do get an extra spell known and an extra spell slot. It is important to note that as a bard, when you level up, you also have the option to change out one spell you know. So if you find you're not using a particular spell that often, you can swap it out for one that will be more important.
Do we have Bless or Bane? Probably not.
Bane. Bane is a great one.
I love Bane.
And that's all right. What that'll do is on all their attack rolls, on all of their saving throws, anything that the enemy is going to do that has to have them roll a d20, they're also going to roll a 4-sided dice. And they subtract. So you can potentially make their success into a failure. So that is it for level 2.
Level 2!
Nothing else changed.
Alright. So, level 3. This is where we start getting the Barbarian, right?
Wrong. We can add the Barbarian if you want.
No, it's okay. So I'm going to do how you did.
For this, I did go into our 3rd level of Bard. Now, I did that specifically because at level 3, you get your school.
I don't want to go to school. I want to play D&D.
Well, you had to learn how to be a Bard somewhere, sir.
I've been a Bard for 2 levels now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Bard colleges allow you to specialize as a Bard. And there are 2 located in the player's handbook. There are others that have come out in a program called Unearthed Arcana, which is distributed directly from the makers of D&D.
Wizards of the Coast.
If your DM wants you to use Unearthed or allows Unearthed Arcana, it is important to remember that it is all playtest material. So it may not be balanced as much as what's already been printed. There are a couple of other resources out there, such as Sword Coast Adventure Guide, or as it's known in the D&D world as the Skag. So there are other source materials. You just have to run it with your DM. Just run it by your DM first, see how he feels.
Because the things in there might not fit in his world. But if you make a strong enough case, sometimes you allow your players to be a gunslinger.
Yes, and sometimes you create the gunslinger for your character, your player. So for this, there's 2 schools. There's the College of Lore and the College of Valor.
And which one are we going with?
I went with College of Valor.
My. Valor. That must be a fighty class college. Fighting class college.
It is a little bit more of a fighter. It does not take away from any of your attacks. And when you join this at level 3, you gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons.
What? Let's throw that in here. Medium armor, shields.
And to make this simple, I would actually just get rid of all that other stuff and just add martial weapons. And that's specifically because all those other weapon proficiencies are covered by martial weapons. So by saying simple light armor and medium armor, that's increased your range of options that you can wear that won't have a disadvantage on you. And simple weapons and martial weapons, that covers everything presented in the player's handbook. So with combat inspiration, you're able to inspire people in battle, which allows anyone that you've given your bardic inspiration to, they can now use that to increase damage or they can use it to improve their AC to stop an attack on them.
AC until the end of that round?
Bardic Inspiration die and add the number rolled to its AC against that attack. After seeing the roll, but before knowing whether it hits or misses. So it is specifically one attack. So if a creature has multiple attacks, you can only raise it up once. Those other 2 attacks, you would use your regular AC.
Good to note. Anything else? College of Valor?
Not at level 3.
Okay. So, pretty good. But, we have to add to our hit points. Up to 36, because we're taking the 12. And our hit die is going up 3 d8s. Proficiency bonus is still at a 2.
Yep. With armor class, by this time, by your adventuring, you should have been able to raise some gold.
Probably at least 20.
So it would be a great time to hit up an armor smith and see if they have other armors available, especially with the increase in the medium armor. That'll allow you to have something stronger for your defense.
Are we switching the armor?
That's just a recommendation.
Okay, we're not switching the armor yet.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can, you don't have to. And mostly because I've played a Barbarian, and I'm aware of their unarmored defense. So that may also factor into your armor choice.
Alright, so let's take this sucker up to level 4.
You want to do level 4 Bard, or are you ready to throw in the Barbarian?
I'm so ready for the Barbarian.
Let's hit that Barbarian.
Barbarian. What, 1? Just one. Just
yes.
one. Sorry, I almost messed that up. And that's how you would note it on the character sheet. It would actually be Bard 3, Barbarian 1.
Awesome.
Customization options.
Now it is needed to know that when you multi-class into another class, again, you need your stats in whatever there's listed. For Barbarian, you need a Strength of 13, and because you're already a Bard, you need a Charisma of 13, which we have covered.
Strength 13, Charisma 16.
And that does not automatically give you everything as if you had started out.
Multiclassing into a Barbarian, you gain proficiency with shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons.
Which we already have.
So we gain nothing.
That's actually not true, though.
What?
We do gain other things. We just don't gain any new proficiencies.
Like hit points?
We do get new HP. And actually, the Barbarian gets a D12 to start with. And just being maxed, that would be a 16 to that.
I can't even do that.
So that would be 52.
That's 52. Alright, so 4d8 hit dice?
Actually, you have 1 D12 hit dice. Every class you do have to represent differently if it's a different die. So
when you take a short rest, you can choose. I'm going to use one of my D8s, or I'm going to use my D12.
You do get some other class features with the Barbarian as well. Such as, you get the Rage mechanic.
Rage.
And what Rage does is, when you enter a Rage, you're able to add an extra 2 damage to all of your attacks, as long as they hit.
I'm going to put this here. Rage. Add +2 damage to a hit.
You also get advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. Now, advantage means you're able to roll the d20 twice and you take the higher number. So, that means you're getting 2 dice roll for every 1, as long as it's a strength check. That does... it is limited. You have to use your strength modifier when you're attacking with weapons, specifically to get that extra damage.
Yes.
And the more important thing is it gives you a resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Again, A lot of weapons do piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning damage. And this character is going to be a little bit more in the front line, trying to draw attention. You're going to want to be able to take some hits.
I want to rage right now.
Alright, calm down there.
Okay.
The other thing you get for being a level 1 barbarian is unarmored defense. And that is simply when you're not wearing any armor, your armor class equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier and your constitution modifier.
Wait a minute. 10 plus con plus, what was the last part?
Dex.
Dex. Cool.
Now, armor class is always determined, unless you're wearing heavy armor, using whatever the armor bonus is for light armor, plus your dex. The leather armor gave us a 11 in our armor class, plus our dex modifier, which was a 1. That's how we arrived at our 12.
So if we get a 10 plus our dex, that would bring us at 11. Plus our con is a plus 4.
Which is a 15.
Armor class. You know what? Let's just strip this out of this armor. Let's just get naked. We're sexy bards. We don't even need it. How many rages a day do we get? I don't think we want
You
to
have
that.
2 rages a day.
2.
And that number does grow depending on what level barbarian you go. And now you guys may ask why I elected to go barbarian with this. It is simply I'm seeing the character in a roleplay aspect of the world isn't acknowledging his levels and skills as a bard. So it's kind of starting to tap into his anger a little bit. It's coming forward. The important thing to note about raging, you can't cast spells or concentrate. So it can be one of those things where you keep it in your back pocket, and either you get into a situation where you're fighting something that's negating magic. Now you can go more weapon based, or you're in a big boss battle and you used all your spells. Vicious Mockery, it's a fun one, but it's not going to do that much damage. Especially if they make their save, they take nothing. So you can result back to your fighting, and with that rage, it'll give you extra damage.
Also important to note, we talked earlier about the cantrip scaling. Certain cantrips, certain spells scale, but only for the spellcasting class. So if you're a Bard 3, Barbarian 4, you're not level 4. You're technically a level 3 Bard. So the bump they get at 5th level only comes when and if you level up to Bard 5. Also, it should be noted that these two things can happen at the same time.
What is important to note that in combat you have the option to move, take an action, and take a bonus action. When you use a rage or an inspiration die, that is your bonus action for that turn.
So round 1, if you just want to fight this guy, you can rage, take your attack. Round 2, perfectly able to attack and inspire your buddy.
And inspiration does not necessarily mean you've sang him a song or wayne poetry at the individual. You could be inspiring in your battle. So, hey, look at all this extra damage I've done. It's your turn, buddy. You can do that. That can be the reason you're inspiring someone.
Look at how much blood my blade hath soaken.
That's that old English. So that's actually it for Barbarian 1.
That's it?
That would be it.
Have we taken this thing up to 20?
Yeah, we can do it up to 20.
Alright.
Now, at level 3 Bard, you also had the option to pick your first level 2 spells.
Oh, I forgot to do that.
Yes, we did.
Whoopsie!
Now, it's important to note how many spells you can know.
Because we already have 5 spells known.
And for this, at level 3, you can know 6 spells. So, what you have the option to do is you can get rid of one of your level 1 spells because of your bardic nature. You can swap out spells and you gain another spell. Or you can keep your level 1s and just take a level 2 spell. Or another level 1 spell. And that just gives you level 2 slots.
How many level 1, level 2 slots?
You have 4 level 1 slots and 2 level 2.
Whoa. I think Enthrall is a great spell. This is what you do. You weave a distracting string of words, causing creatures of your choice you can see within range that can hear you to make a wisdom saving throw. Any creature that can't be charmed succeeds on the saving throw automatically. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on perception checks made to perceive any creature other than you until the spell ends or until the target can no longer hear you. Now, this is great if you have a couple rogues in the party. So like, hey, I'm distracting you. This is my song. Pay no attention to the people back there who have stealth and now have advantage on you.
Interestingly, I would go up to, I would take Suggestion.
Suggestion is also a good one.
And when you cast this, you suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two, and magically influence a creature you see within range. And you can concentrate on this up to 8 hours.
But it's important to also note, because of the Barbarian, if you enter a rage, you will lose concentration on your spell. You can't cast something, start concentrating on it, and then go into your rage and try to like loophole that. They've already thought of that.
And what Suggestion will do is, so basically you can suggest a creature to go do things that it wouldn't necessarily do on its own. You can't, if it's immune to charm, it does not work. If it fails its wisdom saving throw, it has to try to complete whatever your request was to the best of its abilities. The trick is, if you use this in combat, your party cannot turn around and try to hit it because it will knock it out of the spell. So that's where tactically it's important for you to tell your party what you can do and to develop plans based on that. You can also use this spell in a situation of role-playing. Maybe you're trying to get a difficult seller to sell you something they don't want to, or maybe you try to persuade an innkeeper to let you play, things like that. So it's a very versatile spell, and it only takes one action to cast, and you can have it up to 8 hours. So
now, here's what I think we should do. I think we should get rid of one of these stinky level 1 spells, and I think we should put the best spell of all time in this second slot.
And what would that spell be?
Cloud of Daggers.
Okay. Which first level spell do you want to get rid of?
I think Bane. Bane's really not doing much for us. Illusionary Script is still really thematic. Healing Word is helping our party out just in those tight little pinches. Dissonant Whisper is always just fun. Just to role play that is fun. I've done it. Comprehend Languages, still really good. I think Bane is the only one not doing too much for us.
And I agree with getting rid of Bane because go with that scaling of spells, Bane does not scale. So you can't cast it at a higher level for a while. I believe it does eventually, but you'd have to use something much stronger. Excuse me. You can use it at higher levels, but it just allows you to give more targets.
Yeah.
And honestly,
it's still only a D4. Once you get level 5, 6, a D4 is not doing much. Not for the things you're facing.
So, Bane is actually a great choice. Healing Word and Dissonance Whispers, you can actually use a higher level spell slot to deal more damage or heal more HP. So we're going to take this to level 4 now.
I take the Bard to level 4?
Yes.
Oh no, oh no. What happens at level 4?
At level 4, you get a stat increase, or if your DM allows it, you can take a feat. Feats are variants in the game, and instead of taking a stat bump, you can pick something to give you an extra ability, or to maybe enhance an ability you already have.
The reason why these are so rare, you only get stat bumps at what, level 4, 8, 12, 16
and 19 for most classes.
That's 5 stat bumps you get during the entire game. If you roll really crappy over here, you're stuck with those crappy rolls for a while. Leveling up at higher levels takes a long time. So
for this, at level 4, I actually did take the actor feat.
The actor feats. For our second page. I am an actor.
And what this did was it increased charisma score by 1 up to a maximum of 20. And that's important to note that any of your stat bumps can only reach a maximum of 20. For most cases, unless you have a magical item that overrides that. Again, that is up to your DM. So, I know, we keep saying it's up to your DM. It's his world, your craft, that you guys are crafting.
Charisma plus 1.
You have advantage on charisma deception and charisma performance checks when trying to pass yourself off as a different person. And you can also mimic the speech of another person or the sounds made by other creatures. You must have heard the person speaking or heard the creature make the sound for at least 1 minute. Successful wisdom insight check contested by your charisma deception check allows a listener to determine that the effect is fake. So what this is saying is you're able to listen so well that you're able to pick up speech patterns of anyone that you've met and have had a conversation with.
Okay, I'm not going to type all that out because you just heard it, so mimic the speak of a person you've heard for at least 1 minute. And I've already increased our charisma on the first page.
Which made our charisma a 17, so we do not go up another stat bump. So,
but it's something, it helps.
Yes. Which, actually, our proficiency bonus went up.
What?
And that's because our total character level is a level 5, even though we are only a Bard 4 and a Barbarian 2.
So that means this went up.
Yes.
To a 4. And this went up to a 6.
Correct.
Even though you can't see it because it's tiny. Sorry, I'm going to get a real Adobe.
That would also increase any skill that you've picked. Since we haven't filled it in yet, we're not going to worry about that.
Anything with the little bubble. And I mean, technically, once it goes up again, it raises everything.
Correct.
Now, since we had an ability score increase, or a feat feature, a feat selection, usually nothing else happens in the class, except spell classes usually might get an extra bump in their spellage.
Which we do.
We do.
At level 4, we gain an extra cantrip.
Ooh.
So that's, again, anything that's on that list. You can take Thunderclap, Light, Blade Ward. That's really your choice.
I'm thinking Thunderclap or Mage Hand.
I would go with Thunderclap.
Let's go with Thunderclap. Oops.
We also go up with the number of spells that we know. We can know 7 spells, and we gain 1 second level spell slot.
So that's obviously where we're putting the spell.
Yep.
What are we getting?
How about Pyrotechnics?
Pyrotechnics. Choose an area of flame that you can see. You can fit within a 5-foot cube within range. You can extinguish the fire, create fireworks, or smoke. Gotcha.
That would be a thematic spell.
I like it.
And that's important to note. It's really important. You can pick spells based on how you want to play it. If you want him to deal damage, you could certainly take Crown of Madness. A lot of the second level spells are going to be more buffs or debuffs to creatures. So there's not too many damaging spells. Or if you're playing him a little bit more sneaky, you could go with invisibility.
All I did just now was raise up the hit points and the hit dice to our maximum of 12 for the hit points and 1 of the 8 hit dice. And that's all it changes. You get some spells, your hit dice go up, level 4 is cake.
Now where do you want to take him?
Kind of want to see him rage a little more.
Okay.
Let's go Barbarian 2.
Alright. Second level Barbarian.
Paper shuffle. I'm doing this on purpose.
I know you are. You still only have +2 to your rage damage, and you only have 2 rages.
That makes me angry.
What this does give you is actually reckless attack. By doing so, you gain advantage on all melee weapon attacks using strength for the turn. The downside is anything attacking you also gets that advantage. So you give yourself advantage and you give anything attacking you advantage. But hey, you're a barbarian. You're really you get a lot of HP to kind of make up for whatever they're going to do. I played very much a straight barbarian. Believe me, they'll take a hit.
700.
And if you're doing it right, it's because you're drawing them in so the rest of your party can drop everything on them. And your other ability you get is Danger Sense. And this actually gives you dexterity saving advantage on dexterity saving throws against traps and spells that you can see. So if you see a spellcaster and they're aiming a spell at you, and it's a dexterity saving throw, you have advantage on it, which is again rolling 2d20s and taking the higher number. That is really useful if you know something's coming. And that's it for level 2.
No, it's not.
Except for your leveling up of the HP there.
We get HP, we get new hit dice. Alright, what was that? 16 we're going up? So that would be 80. That is Barbarian 2. Now,
it is.
where next? A Barbarian 3.
Let's do Barbarian 3.
Alright, so this would go up another 16, getting us at a 96.
Correct.
This would go up 3.
So at level 3 of Barbarian, you get to take your primal path. And like the Bard colleges, they provide 2 in the book. There's the Path of the Berserker and Path of the Totem Warrior. For this, I in particularly went with the Path of the Totem Warrior.
I like it.
And when you look at the totems, they provide 3 in the player's handbook. Bear, Eagle, and Wolf. For the bear, while you're raging, you actually have resistance to all damage except psychic damage. So now being a level 6, level 7 character, things are going to be throwing damage at you that may not necessarily be slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage. So this is going to reduce everything except for psychic damage. And not too many things have psychic damage until you're going into the Underdark and you're dealing with mind flares and some other things that...
Or your piece of shit Bard rival.
That's true. But if he's only a Bard, he's getting whacked by a half Barbarian here.
That's true.
Eagle, when you're raging and not wearing heavy armor...
Oh, I thought we were going with Bear. Are you just reading them off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other creatures have disadvantage on opportunity attack rolls against you, and you can use the dash action as a bonus action on your turn. Spirit of the Eagle makes you into a predator to weave through the fray with ease. So what this is saying is, if you're engaged in an opponent, and if you move away, they get something called an opportunity attack. What this is saying is they have disadvantage on that attack roll against you. Great way to try to avoid some extra damage. And you can use the dash action as a bonus action, which allows you to move farther in battle to try to hit something when you're raging. And then when Wolf, when you're raging, your friends have advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that is hostile to you. Spirit of the Wolf makes you a leader of hunters. For this, yes, I would go with Bear for that extra resistance. Because we are in with the Bard, starting out with that less HP than, say, a full Barbarian, this will help you kind of almost double your HP. So while we only have 96 HP, unless we're fighting something with psychic damage, we're taking half damage all the time. You're really extending those resources.
While you're raged.
Yes. While raging. That is important to note. If you're not raging, you're going to take full damage. So if someone drops a fireball on your head, you do not have resistance. Mm-hmm. Just quickly, the overview of the Berserker. If you were to elect to go that path, you would get something called Frenzy, which allows you to get a second attack as a bonus attack. So, it's great, except for it will give you a level of exhaustion, which you really have to get into it.
That's a whole other
That's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Alright, so our half-elf is Bardy. He's Bardbarian. But you know what? He's kind of fallen behind. I think he needs a skill bump. What do you...
I agree.
Or a stat bump. So we'll jump into Barbarian 4.
Which gives us that stat bump. And I would actually give it to Constitution.
Up to a 20.
Gives him a 20.
Plus 5.
That actually also increases our armor class. And that would be 17. Which makes that 113.
113. Glad he knew it. 4. 4d12. And that's it, right?
That's
they're
it.
not a spell class. Martial classes are so much easier when it comes to those odd levels. Like fighters, they get stuff like every few levels higher up. So, all right.
But now, I mean, it would be important to note that you don't want your character getting lost in his rage. He's still a performer at heart.
He is. And you know what? Maybe he's dialed it back some. Maybe the monk in the group has really shown him serenity. No, he's not going to multiclass in a monk.
No.
But he's going to go back to his bardic roots and
he's going to go to level 5.
Finish his journey. Okay, so we went ahead and decided to fill in all the rest of it because you don't get a whole lot, and doing it level by level would just take forever. So we jumped up. We did some skill bumps. Our strength is now 18. Dex is still 12. Con is 20. Intelligence and wisdom still 11 and 9. Charisma's, 18. Our passive perception went up to 15. We got 2 more expertises. So deception's at 16. Performance is at 16. Persuasion's at 16. Stealth is at 13. Our proficiency bonus is now plus 6. Our hit points are whopping 269. Psh. Hit dice all went up, and all of this went up too. We forgot to do this a little bit earlier when our proficiency bonus went up, but now we're at our full attack bonus of plus 10 and our plus 4 to our damage. What else did we get?
Our bardic inspiration dice went up.
D12. Still 4 uses because of the charisma. 4 uses. We got battle magic for our College of Valor. When you cast a bard spell, a full action bard spell, you can make a weapon attack as a bonus action. That's pretty cool. Yeah, try to change that to 4. We got Counter Charm. We got that at 6th level.
Correct.
At 6th level. And I think I'm going to say we got a bunch more spells. But we also got the ability to gain spells from other classes. So we've now switched our spells. We gained an extra cantrip, Mage Hand. We have out at 4. Our first level spells are now Comprehend Languages, Dissonant Whispers, Healing Word, Illusionary Script, and Chromatic Orb we stole from another class.
Chromatic Orb is a great first level spell. You can use higher spell slots to do it, and you get to pick what kind of damage you're dealing with it. So if you're fighting a Frost Giant, you know you don't want cold damage. You're going to want to try to melt that sucker.
Suggestion and Cloud of Daggers at 2nd level. Stinking Cloud, Dispel Magic, Fear, and Counterspell at level 3.
Counterspell is a great thing if your character's paying attention to what enemy spellcasters are doing. It can stop a spell from ever being cast as long as it's level 3 or below, or if it's level 4 or higher, you can. It creates a spell save that the caster has to beat in order for his spell to succeed.
It's essentially Dispel Magic as a reaction to another spell, not just something that is cast.
You can stop the spell before it happens instead of having to deal with it after.
Yes. Level 4, we took Dimension Door, which lets you just poof Nightcrawler out of there. Polymorph, which lets you turn into things. There's restrictions. I don't know. It's a big, long thing. Greater Invisibility, you can turn invisible. Better than just turning invisible. And Avard's Black Tentacles. You summon these like crazy tentacle things and damage and such.
It does 3d6 bludgeoning damage, and it can restrain your opponents, which means they can't move. It's much easier to hit things that can't move.
Truth. Level 5, we took Teleportation Circle, which literally allows you to teleport to a teleportation circle you know of. You've written down, you've memorized the script on it, and if you continue to cast Teleportation Circle every day for a year, you create your own teleportation circle.
Great if you happen to end up with a keep or your own castle, or if you're going to be in a town for a year, you can cast Teleportation Circle every day, and then you have an instant place to go get back to that you know is safe.
As long as the town allows you.
That's always important. Ask the town folk first.
Mass Cure Wounds, it does like a D8 or something to everybody within a certain range, or I think it's so many creatures you select. It does stuff. Level 6, we have Eye Bite, which is fun. You roll against your creature, and depending on what you pick, you can do a bunch of different things to them. And just describing it in battle is hilarious. Thank you, Sam Riegel. Mass Suggestion. I think we have Suggestion still, right? We have Suggestion. You can just target more creatures.
And I mean, you're a bard, you're a performer. We're playing it as he's trying to become famous. You maybe want to cast Mass Suggestion on a group of people to go talk about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Roleplay, friends. Roleplay.
Level 7 gets us Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion, which is we took out the tiny hut for the Magnificent Mansion. You can probably guess why.
That actually creates a pocket dimension with a magical mansion in it, so nothing can enter that mansion. So you're just removed from whatever situation might be going on, because if you're not allowed in, you're not going in there.
And then we have Mordenkainen's Sword, which I believe I read that correctly, is that's just a magical frickin' floating sword that is awesome.
Does 3d6 or 3d10 force damage?
3d10 force damage. The spell ends. Until the spell ends, you can use a bonus action on each of your turns to move the sword up to 20 feet and repeat the attack again. So it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to attack you because I get two attacks, and oh yeah, my sword as my bonus action is going to go attack you. Forget your inspiration, man. No, I'm done. Attack. attack this guy. Done. That's just how I see it when you play. Level 8, we have Feeble Mind, which, like it sounds, it turns your mind to mush.
It's a great way to, if there's an enemy caster, to get rid of their spell ability.
To kill Beyond Ancient Green Dragon.
Get over it, man.
I can't.
Just get over it.
Feeble Minded.
You know what? Mercer didn't expect it either, but it's okay.
I also didn't expect you guys to diplomatize my Ancient Red Dragon I put against you.
Yeah, well, hey.
An Earthquake just does buckets of damage. Awesome spell. You know, it rounds out the damage pretty well. And that's it. That is your Bardbarian. He is a beastie. I wouldn't really say beefy. He's a half-elf. But he is a force to be reckoned with on many different levels. Very versatile character. Anything else? Yeah.
No, that's...
Cool. All right, hey.
Also, bear in mind that we kept a lot of the basic equipment and stuff, which by the time you're level 20, you really should be swinging some magical stuff, or had your weapons improved. That is, of course, up to your DM, but let's just say you don't want to take a basic longsword into a battle with an ancient green dragon, or an ancient any kind of dragon. It's not going to go well.
It's very true. Stuff that can be discussed in a session 0 on whether or not magic items will be available and at what level they will be available-ish. As long as the DM has a plan. Like, I never plan to give my characters a bunch of magic items. It just happens. But they love me for it. So, anyways. Rich.
Mark.
We're Bards in the Basement. And pretty soon we'll actually be broadcasting from such... if you like the videos, like, share, subscribe, something like that. Again, still new to this.
Cool.
See you next time. We need an outro.
An outro?
We need some kind of thing.
Catch you next time.